Let me begin with a story. An elegantly dressed woman in New York City. She was getting on the subway. She was well dressed, and she got off the subway and she realized she only had one glove. And she looked as the train was about to leave and saw her other glove lying on the seat. And the doors were about to close. She looked at her glove, shrugged her shoulders, and tossed it into the subway train. I love that story because I think we're all faced with that. How many times have we found one of our favorite socks? And I'm convinced that all my favorite socks are with my favorite travel mug. Because if you look at the lost and found of the church, what are the two biggest things that we find at church left over? Travel mugs and keys. Bev's, travel mug. But keys as well. And it's like, do people not notice they've lost the keys? Or do they just have so many of them, it's not an issue? But I love that story because we're always faced with that idea of letting go. And we're talking about change this month. And change can often be, we don't want to change because we're frightened what might happen next. Or we maybe don't want to change because we love something so much. We love what we have. We love the church just the way it is. I think that's one of the hardest things to change. When we love something, can we let it go? And I love that because I'm assuming that woman deeply loved her gloves. She was a New Yorker after all. But she realized that, I can give that gift on to someone else by pairing them up rather than me keeping one glove and me leaving another. I think we're often faced with that choice, and we have those things that we love in our life that we can't. It's hard sometimes to move on, to change, because we love things so much. And I know when we lose a loved one, it's hard to move on. We're not going to be changed. We're going to learn to live with that. I think many of us have experienced the loss of pets, especially those younger with us. And could you put the photo up now, Greg? This was my dog. And it's called Tiny. And it was an 11-pound Chihuahua. And we rescued it in 2014. And it was the sweetest dog. It was great with children. It was great with adults. It was great with small dogs. It was really aggressive with big dogs. I don't know if that's really good or really bad self-defense. But she was a really sweet dog, and she would just snuggle with everyone. She would sleep with me and very close to certain parts of my body every night and burrowing under the blankets. But it was a really sweet dog, but it had a lot of illnesses, and it became diabetic. It had cataracts in its eyes. I was saying to the tech team, we spent more money in medical care for that dog than any of the rest of my family put together. But dogs are part of the family, and then Tiny died in 2018. It was surprising. We were actually back in Scotland for my mum's funeral. And we came back to find out Tiny, our dog, had died. And it was a huge loss. And Isla, our daughter, keeps asking us, are we ready to get another dog? And I know I got myself into trouble a few weeks ago. Someone heard that I didn't like cats. I'm sure that's not what I said. I think I just said I preferred dogs. Or maybe they're right. Maybe I said, I'm allergic to cats, so I don't have a huge love for them. But I said this by this writer, American writer, Josh, wrote that the reason we love dogs so much is that dogs love us more than they love themselves. They're the only animal that loves us more than loves ourselves. I don't think you can say that about cats. I've got myself into trouble again. There's a career-ending move. But I do love dogs. And I think we learn a lot about letting go because eventually we do come around to getting another pet. And we think, I can never love another dog as much as I love that dog. And that's true. But you can still love another dog. It's not in the same way, or you love another cat. And I think that's one of the things about letting go, It's not that we're letting go in love. We're not letting go of the love we had for that person, for that thing, for that congregation, for that dog, that cat that we have had. We're letting go to allow more space for love, because we can love more. And when we really connect with those creatures, those people, those places that we love, it reminds us of the love we're capable of for other people, for other things. It opens us up to love. And there's a beautiful story from a Unitarian Universalist church of this intergenerational activity, and they're making hearts. And this young girl makes this beautiful heart. She takes great care, and she surrounds it with these beautiful foil around the edge of the hearts, and then puts sprinkles on it. And she absolutely loves it. It's perfect. And then she looks at the woman next to her, who's about her grandmother's age, and she sees her heart, and she feels sad because it's torn and it's scraped, and some parts are black and some parts are beautiful coloured. And she thought, oh, maybe I can help. She said, can I help repair your heart? And she said, no. The woman said, no, thank you, I appreciate that, but that's exactly what I wanted. And the young girl said, why? She said, well, see these beautiful pieces? These are when I met my partner, and when I had my children and watched my children grow up. She goes, but what about the black part and the torn part? Well, that's when my husband died, and it tore a little piece of my heart. That's when my friend got really ill. This part was when I got into an accident and took a long time to recover. These are all different pieces. And she said, but the girl said, but if you tear every time you lose a piece of your heart, why do you have anything left? She said, because people give me a piece of theirs. People give me a piece of theirs. And at that point, the young girl tore off a piece of her heart and gave it to the woman. And the older woman tore off a piece of hers and gave it to the young girls. And I think that's what it means to be letting go in love. We let go of these things we love to change ourselves, but we do not stop loving them. We're creating space to love more, to love others, to love a new congregation, to love a changed congregation, to love a new person, to love our grandchildren. And I think that's what letting go of those we love is to create more space for love. And I hope that can help us change.